From the island, Sint Maarten, this is SXM Daily News for December 23rd, 2025. President of Parliament Sarah Westcott-Williams on the Initiative National Ordinance, amending on admission and expulsion from Sint Maarten.
The government of Sint Maarten need to be able to address not only this matter in the proposed draft law, but also some of the other issues regarding our demographics, our immigration, etc., etc. Because if we talk about something coming back to haunt us in the case of this initiative draft law, where the immigration on St. Maarten is concerned, that's going to be worse. That is going to be worse. And in the handling of this, continuous handling of this law, rather than seek to maybe make additional amendments, I will find a way to come with some motions directed to the government where this matter is concerned, because it is not improving the matter of immigration and the matter of our demographics on St. Maarten and what and who we want to be going along. The Council of Advice has spoken about this matter of consolidation, not consolidation only between the two similar draft initiative laws, but also consolidation with what the government is doing and should do. And while according to our Constitution, it is the right of one or more members, so more than one member can be part of one initiative draft law, and that these draft laws can be submitted by Parliament to the government for ratification. Fact is that unless the government feels good about the execution, MP Otley, to you directly, we need to guard against that. Because otherwise, we, the Parliament of St. Maarten, will hopefully, I hope we will end up with a law that will not be executed, period. It's not a question. It is something that I and other members of Parliament have experienced. So that consolidation issue and how we have identified a problem, how best to address it. I am not a proponent of holding back a specific item like this in order to deal with the bigger picture, but we have to deal with it. Again, we talk about data, and I heard someone mention, I think MP Otley himself referred to the fact that in the Netherlands, it was stated that 42% or something to that effect does not have a secondary education. I heard it too in the Netherlands, and in fact, I turned, I believe, to the person sitting next to me, and I said, I wonder where they get that data from, because the latest population census on St. Maarten, that has also been referred to by some of the MPs, states that persons no longer in school with a level up to secondary education is 52%. Yes, it is down from 2011 when the level of secondary education on St. Maarten was 62, and in 2022, it was established to be at 54. I think I said 52, 54 in 2022. The level of secondary education, persons with secondary education who are no longer in school. So I don't know where that 40-something came from, and but anyhow, so I wanted to make that clear. But not only that, coming back to the matter of data. And that's why I say it ain't that we don't necessarily have data, but what are we doing with the data that is collected in the context of the country package? Need I say more? No, we have had several reports which have been done, including the final review on our education system, saying, and I quote, according to the UNICEF report 2020, the number of unregistered people residing St. Maarten could be as high as 20% of the official population. St. Maarten has approximately 10,000 children under the age of 18, 1/5 of whom are aged 5 or older. Some estimates indicate that the country is home to an additional 20% of children who are not properly registered in the civil registry. With regard to background, language, and faith, St. Martin fits the sub-regional trend of heterogeneity. This speaks to the need for cultural sensitivity in aligning programs for children and their family. And the question was, well, we should ask ourselves, what was done with that report? All of these studies that are being done in the context of the country package, the study on immigration, the study on entrepreneurship, the study on education, from which I just quoted. But these reports, like so many before them, have been shelved because we don't have probably the capacity, we don't have the resources. So that kind of information is there and is there available.
MP Omar Otley on the Initiative National Ordinance, amending on admission and expulsion from St. Martin.
I sat here and I'm a bit happy to see that all members of parliament are engaged. And what I do realize from the engagement is that there's a problem. There's a problem, and I realize that every member of parliament that spoke, the door was cracked open and everybody bust through and want me to fix every immigration problem. That's not the essence of this article. And I can tell that some of us didn't even read the law. I can tell because MP Waver hit it on the head. MP De Malabega hit it on the head. MP Myers, my certain colleagues. The law pertains to two aspects. Children, and MP De Weaver, children born in St. Martin. The 10-year process are for parents before making that child. You have been here, contributed, you made that child will receive immediate residency. As it pertains to the 10-year, if you are at fault, you do not register within those 10 years, right? We reduce the age through you, Madam Chair, from 16 to 10. That has no ties to the parent. The parent does not affect that. That is solely based on the educational consistency. Solely based. And that's what I wanted to make clear and understand. And by saying that, we are dealing with children born in St. Martin of foreign parents. We started to go left and speak of all the immigration issues in the country. But what this showed me is that we spark something in Parliament today. And as members of Parliament, we can do legislation, we can bring policies and hope that the ministers adhere. Madam Chair, we speak of data, and I did reference the census, I did reference UNICEF, I did use information from the World Bank. Through you, Madam Chair, I have asked information from the Honorable Prime Minister. And when my colleague mentioned that it's budget, I didn't ask about budget. I specifically asked these questions for these reasons. And it was stated there is no data. Madam Chair, to bring to example, when it was said 42% in the Netherlands, I immediately went to the staff of the Prime Minister and I said, can you send me where did you receive this data? I am working and I'm presenting in Parliament on Tuesday. To this date, Madam Chair, nothing was received. This is what I'm going through. I would like to make it known that this whole draft was sent to the government of St. Martin since September. September. Nothing has been received. I have asked questions to each and every one of the relevant ministers. And what I read from the Minister of Education was directly stated right here in Parliament. The data is lacking. And what the minister did was provided me with what she could have gathered and clearly stated, please beware that there is no distinction in this data between stateless and undocumented. There is no separate distinction. So a colleague asked that question and I clearly stated it, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, as it relates to the Council of Advice, the impression, again, just to give a perspective on how laws go. We, members of Parliament, we sent it to the Council of Advice. This Council of Advice rendered their decision on the first draft. After that, the Council said it should go to the SED. This is still a debate, in my opinion, that we are having, whether we should go to the SED or not. It has been something that is recently added that said should. not must. However, it was sent to the said. I would like the public of St. Martin to know this legislation was submitted last year, August. It's giving the impression as if it came back and it was rushed. Nothing is rushed. I have 4 legislations currently at the said over a year now, over a year and months, currently at the said. And the said is coming to Parliament and saying we have a backlog. My said, we are our said. That's my opinion. The Council of Advice and the said are advisory bodies. Everyone in here said that their phone was ringing, Madam Chair. Their phone was getting messages. You are the representatives of the people. You are the representatives of the people. And while we read the Council of Advice, I can say that I don't believe that many of you read the NADA report. Because the first draft was sent to the council, and those were made, and the council said, we support the initiative. Do not follow through until my recommendations are taken up, which the recommendations were taken up in the NADA report, and I listed some of them, the main concerns. It was also spoken about data, and my colleague mentioned we got our data today, real-life scenarios. Madam Chair, in my presentation, I listed 4 scenarios. I said I changed the names with the exception of 1 person. But those are my scenarios. And in the presentation, I stated we motivated from the said, while the said does not requires more information that doesn't exist on paper, we use real-life motivations. So we sent to the council, we took the recommendations of the council, and then sent to the said, and we proceeded.
DCOM. As the clock ticks down to Christmas 2025, families have already been looking at their holiday meal options and shopping requirements, and these final days will be very busy. Cooking up a storm for this holiday season is one of the Christmas traditions, and therefore proper food preparation is key to avoid foodborne health hazards that can ruin more than just a holiday meal. They can cause serious illness and even death. Double-check expiration dates on food items prior to purchasing or for use in meal preparation. As part of Collective Prevention Services, CPS, Ministry of Public Health, Social Development, and Labour Safe Holiday Season Calendar of Observances, in collaboration with the Department of Communication, DCOM, residents are advised to keep the season safe by following some tips on how to enjoy holiday meals safely. Here are some tips to avoid bacteria growing in your meals and delicious dishes. 1. Use a thermometer. Be sure stuffing, chicken, and any other poultry dishes are cooked thoroughly to 165 degrees F. Ground beef and ham must be cooked thoroughly to 155 degrees F. All other foods, including eggs, should be cooked to 145 degrees F. 2. Do not leave foods containing meat, milk, eggs, fish, or poultry at room temperature for more than 4 hours. This includes pudding and custard-type pies that are popular during the holidays. 3. Cool all leftovers to 41 degrees F within 4 hours after cooking. 4. Do not thaw food at room temperature. Plan ahead and thaw them in the refrigerator. If the food needs to be thawed quickly, use the microwave or cold running water and then cook promptly after it has thawed. 5. If you are traveling with food, be sure to keep it cold, 41 F or hot, 140 F or above while transporting. 6. After the big meal, be sure to refrigerate any leftovers within 1 hour. Bacteria love room temperatures and grow quickly in amounts enough to make people ill. To prevent food from becoming contaminated, wash your hands frequently and thoroughly with soap and warm water before food preparation and after coughing, sneezing, using the toilet, changing diapers, eating, drinking, or smoking. If you have diarrhea or are feeling ill, avoid handling food in order to prevent the transmitting or spreading of infections. 2. Do not prepare or handle food if you are ill. A cook's gastrointestinal illness could be spread to others sharing the meal. 3. Thoroughly clean and sanitize knives, cutting boards, and other utensils before and after preparing raw foods and foods that do not require further cooking. Sanitize with a solution of 1 tablespoon of bleach per gallon of water. 4. Wash all fresh fruits and vegetables. Contrary to popular belief, if you do become ill from contaminated food, it is not always the last meal you ate that's the culprit. Foodborne illness can occur anywhere from 1 hour to 72 hours, and even longer after eating contaminated food. Please help make the 2025 holiday season be a safe one by paying attention to proper food preparation and handling techniques. Happy holidays!
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah, your social health insurances.
We have more with Prime Minister Dr. Luc Mercelina on the NVGB Supervisory Board for clarity on the current composition, mandate, and operational status of the Supervisory Board, as well as any recent or pending decisions impacting corporate governance at the House of Parliament.
I would like to make use of this opportunity in conclusion to make the following statement. We all recognize that NVGB challenges are significant, but they are by no means insurmountable. GB has faced setbacks, but through decisive action, sound governance, and the collective will of the people of St. Martin, we can and we will overcome this. This government has not stood by in the face of this energy crisis. From the moment we assumed office, we have taken deliberate, measured, and proactive steps to safeguard the people's interest. Every action taken by this government has been guided by one overriding principle, that the people of St. Martin deserve stability, fairness, and transparency from their sole utility provider. Relief measures are being worked on to ease the burden on the households, whether through social assistance programs, adjustment of the fuel clause, or broader intervention, as the one that I explained that we're busy on. Government is continuing to work towards relief that will reach those in most need, but also every household that has felt the weight of a high electricity bill. But relief alone is not enough. The road ahead must be paved with transparency, accountability, and responsibility. And VGB must place itself in the position to deliver results that people can see and trust. This is how we rebuild confidence and pride in our national utility company. The power and the future of St. Martin is ultimately in our collective hands. Let us take that responsibility seriously. We can and we will. Madam Chair, before closing, I would like to thank the staff of NVGB that despite the daily challenges being faced, they show up and continue their hard work on a daily basis. For that, I'm really thankful as Prime Minister of this country. To the people of St. Martin, I would like to thank you for your continued understanding, patience, and confidence in this government as we navigate through the difficulties of this NVGB. Also thank you to the members of Parliament for your attention, and I look forward to a constructive and proactive discussion which serves at the end of the day in the interest of the people of St. Martin and, of course, the employees of NVGB.
Willemstad, satellite navigation disruptions, including interference with GPS signals, are occurring with increasing frequency in the airspace managed by Curaçao and Venezuela. That is the conclusion of a safety issue alert issued by the Regional Aviation Safety Group Pan America, RSGPA, operating under the umbrella of the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO. The warning comes amid rising geopolitical tensions between the United States and Venezuela. According to reporting by the New York Times, both countries are deliberately disrupting GPS signals in the Caribbean region as part of military countermeasures. ICAO reports that airlines and air traffic control centers across several flight information regions, FIRs, including the Curaçao FIR, have logged a growing number of incidents in which GPS signals are temporarily lost. Pilots have reported alerts indicating loss of position data or degraded navigation capability. In some cases, ADS-B or transponder signals are also affected, making aircraft temporarily less visible to air traffic controllers. These disruptions typically last from a few seconds to several minutes and occur mainly at cruising altitude, both during en route flights and in the vicinity of airports. While no accidents have been reported, ICAO describes the situation as an emerging safety risk due to the frequency of reports and their wide geographic distribution. News from Jamaica. A Clarendon man charged with the murder of his 3 relatives in Rocky Point Man used a machete to kill his mother, brother, and cousin. TVJ News Report.
To a TVJ News update now, the Clarendon man, well, he's a fisherman accused of killing 3 members of his family at their home in Rocky Point last week, has been charged. Daniel Henry was charged with 3 counts of murder by detectives attached to the Major Investigation Division. He's accused of killing his mother, Annette Lindu, his brother, 32-year-old fisherman Linval Henry, and his cousin, a vendor, Keisha Lindu. The accused was remanded when he appeared in court today. Now, last Thursday, he and his brother Linval were at home in Fraser's Field when a dispute developed between them. Henry then reportedly used a machete to chop his brother and later killed his mother and cousin.
Now for the weather forecast, tonight through Wednesday morning. Variably cloudy and occasionally breezy with isolated showers. Surface winds, tonight through Wednesday morning. Northeast to east with a gentle to moderate breeze at 8 to 16, higher wind gusts are likely. State of the sea, slight to moderate waves, swells 3 to 5 feet. Outlook through Thursday morning, fair to partly cloudy with isolated showers. And now your 3-day forecast.
SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXV, yeah. Your social health insurances.
Christmas cheer mixed with community building in St. James North, as residents gathered for a festive family event hosted by their Member of Parliament. CBC News.
It was music, smiles, and togetherness as families turned out in their numbers for a Christmas celebration in St. James North. But for Member of Parliament Chad Blackman, the event was about more than seasonal cheer. He highlighted the progress being made across the constituency since taking office.
Children and family go hand in hand with Christmas. And as MP, I want to make sure that I can continue to do things that will bring the community together and bring families together. But outside of that, a lot is happening in St. James North, particularly since I came to office in May. A number of projects are going on. A lot of houses are being repaired across the constituency. Roads are being fixed. Persons, of course, are not just gaining employment through working for persons, but a lot of persons have now set up businesses. As a campaign promise you would have heard, I mentioned that we're going to ensure that this thing called the link, which allows for persons to now pool their resources together, one for the cooperative for agriculture, but two for small business.
The MP says as the country continues to see economic growth, the people in the community must also benefit. He says his role as MP is very critical in this regard.
The country, of course, is experiencing a lot of economic growth, 17 consecutive quarters of growth. But that all means nothing if at the local level of the economy, persons are also not benefiting. So my role as MP is to continue to bridge what is happening nationally with what is happening locally. And it's been very, very good. Persons continue to come forward. Persons who have never been involved in politics and not even interested in politics are not necessarily coming into the mainstream side of things, but they've said, Mr. Blackman, we like your vision, we like what you're doing, and we want to be on board in whatever way possible.
Looking ahead, Minister Blackman says 2026 will bring expanded agricultural initiatives and even greater partnerships.
But next year, the idea is to now link the agricultural sector in St. James North to the hotels and to the restaurants, so that the tourism aspect of things can now play a mainstay in St. James North like never before.
Residents responded positively, with many saying the MP's accessibility has encouraged wider community involvement. As Christmas approaches, the message from St. James North is one of unity, growth, and shared progress. Deanza Roberts, CBC News.
Members of the 8th Chinese medical delegation from the Republic of China after arriving at Adams International Airport. They are being warmly welcomed to the islands, where they will be sharing their knowledge and expertise to the people who live here in Barbados.
Members of the 8th Chinese medical delegation from the Republic of China at the Grantley Adams International Airport. They are being warmly welcomed to the island, where they will be sharing their knowledge and expertise to the people who live here. Minister of State in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Davidson Ishmael, says Barbados is thanking China for continuing to send professionals to support the upgrading and the enhancement of the delivery of healthcare on the island.
This being the 8th cohort, the 8th delegation of medical professionals who have come, it shows that there has been a long-standing relationship that has been mutually beneficial. We have not only been able to gain over 7 cohorts, sufficient benefit of having these medical practitioners within our healthcare setting, mostly within the QEH and in some cases within our polyclinic and primary care healthcare settings. but we are also learning from their skills and their techniques, not only in terms of traditional medicine, but of course alternative medicines as well.
The 9 medical professionals representing several specialties are spending the next 12 months within Barbados' clinical space.
And we're expecting that they will be able to deliver those clinical services within the QH environment.
Chinese ambassador to Barbados, His Excellency Bin Kai-zeng, was also present to welcome the delegation.
And I think there will be even more cooperation in the medical area and more beyond just happened for the next year, just between our two countries.
The first Chinese medical delegation arrived on the island in 2016. Onesta Henry, CBC News.